Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hi students, we discussed in the previous class about geometrical progression and its applications, and also the application of one of the theorems of binomial expression 1 plus x to the power of n can be written as 1 plus nx, which is helping us to get solution to many numerical simplifications in physics. And at the end I given in the last session one homework. Let us see that one and move further today. Let given is 3 cube upon 3 plus 0.01 to the cube is how much? So for this, I am writing once again it as 3 cube by 3 plus 0.01 to the power of cube can be written as 3 cube upon, if I bringing the 3 outside here. So if you want to bring 3 outside, so 3 here it comes 1 plus and 0.01 by 3 to the power of whole cube. That what we see in this. And again 3 cube if I brought out, and this according to the law of indices we are able to write 3 cube into 1 plus 0.0 dividing by that again it is 0 3 to the power of cube. 1 by 3, 1 is not going 0, 10 times 3 can be written. 3 by 3 cancels and you can write this in the form 1 plus 0.0033 to the power of minus 3. When I take that 1 minus, because of minus 3 into 0.0033, this may be written as 0.0099 this. So you know 1.000 subtracting 0.0099, you get 09 is 1, 9 out of 9 is 0, again 9, and this is 9.9. Answer is come to be around 0.99 is the answer to this problem. So such a way is only some basic examples we have taken. So the situation arises in simplification of the problems in physics, where it helps to know the value using, if it happens to be, but condition you remember while applying 1 plus x to the power of n, as I told yesterday, it may be written as 1 plus nx. X must be a fraction. S must be a fraction and it must be 1. It may be any real number. Then you can apply this rule to find the simplifications to the question that arises in the situation of solving the problems. So with this, dear students, we are in physics. Most of the chapters which we deal in the 2 years of journey in physics, every chapter, physics is a measurement subject. We are measuring many physical quantities, and many physical quantities are relating one with respect to the other. One is relating to the other. So for example, if I throw a ball upward, so we can think the sum with the velocity I thrown it upward, it will reach some height when its velocity becomes 0 and again starts coming downward. So if I throw with higher velocity or higher speed, it rises to higher level. And there are 3 different quantities we are thinking here. One is velocity with which you have thrown, The agent which is responsible it to slow down and to bring it back is a force called gravitational force, and these are related with the time interval. Likewise, many physical quantities, suppose you are going to Chitradurga from Davangere, it is about 60 kilometers. When you are traveling in a vehicle with a speed of 60 km per hour on an average, you will reach Chitradurga in 1 hour, it is an estimation. Suppose if the vehicle travels with a speed on an average of 30 km per hour, easily we are able to say it takes 2 hours. So we are relating the two terms here again as velocity and time, or speed and time. So that means here, whenever we study physics, we cannot go with single quantity, we are relating to with others. Even your gas theory studies, pressure, volume, temperature, thermodynamic variables, how they interconnected to each other. So many physical quantities. Every chapter we deal with one quantity relating to the other. So minimum two variables, velocity and time, distance and time, or acceleration and time, or distance and velocity, or acceleration and distance, force and time, work and displacement, power and displacement, or power and velocity. So there are many physical quantities. When we want to relate, we require the mathematical assistance in two ways. One, we are expressing these relations in terms of algebraic equations. One may be, for example, if I write V equal to U plus AT, you have studied in high school standard. It is an algebraic equation with the two variables or three variables are there, velocity is there, acceleration is there, time is there. So likewise, A is maybe a constant, V and T are varying if A is uniform acceleration. So how the velocity varies with the time, we have to represent with an equation which we expressed in algebraic equation as V equal to U plus AT, or you may be studied the equation such as S is equal to UT plus half AT square, where again displacement is related with the time, or you may be studied equation like V square equal to U square plus 2AS. So that what I am, instead of words, if I told V equal to U plus AT, here these may be constant, V and T dependency we are seeing here. Or if you could write S is equal to UT plus half AT square. So here also dependency of time with the distance, and you can use the equation V square equal to U square plus 2AS, where the velocity and displacement are related. So these equations algebraically we represented, and we can also represent these in the form of graphs or curves, variation of one with respect to the others. Representation graphically also help us to understand the physics behind those very easily compared to algebraic equations. Just we are getting pictorial representation of one physical quantity, how relates to the other. You have learnt, I think, many graphs like straight line curve, parabola, hyperbola, circle, ellipse, area under them. So all these very much essential in physics. How that is to understand, we have to go through the knowledge of basic fundamental knowledge of graphs, for which we require the assistance of coordinate geometry. So I am entering to, after just the quadratic equations and also the arithmetic and geometric progressions we have discussed, and also some of the n natural numbers or sum of squares of natural numbers, and again using one of the most important binomial expression. Now I am coming to coordinate geometry, where we represent the variation of physical quantity of one related to the other. With the help of that, we are able to assess many physical quantities. It is helping to know the intercept of the values, or slope of the curves, or area under curves, gives us the fantastic physical quantities and making very easy to understand physics and landing to the answers faster than algebraic equations. Therefore, please take these classes more seriously and understand how these curves are varies and what this coordinate geometry gives you in physics. So dear students, let me start with that. Just if you note down this problem, I enter to coordinate geometry later. Yes, the third concept has a coordinate geometry. Ordinates are nothing but reference lines. So here, most simple, let us start with a most simple thought that you have studied and you are understanding more easily the movement of the particles or any object in nature. Suppose a particle is moving, we say it is one dimensional variation, means it only value changes along a specific direction. That specific direction which we prefer is compared to someone. That comparing to someone is our earth, which is more referenceable to us, which seems to be flat with limited distance, a plane, where we consider if the particle is moving parallel to the earth, parallel to the ground, we say I take an earth as a reference line, plane, reference plane, and that plane, parallel to that plane, any particle is moving, only we say in mathematics, one reference, the movement is along the x direction, and called it as a x-axis. Horizontal variation, parallel to the ground variation, that is why parallel to the ground, horizontal variation in mathematics is called as abscissa. Horizontal variations are considered, but in physics we use word axis, x-axis. So when variation concerned, I take for example, it may be 0. As number system we can follow because I starting with the most fundamental idea. So it may be 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter, 4 meter. If it is from this reference point, I considered as 0. To the left of this, if I move, it may be minus 1 meter, minus 2 meter, minus 3 meter, like that. Now with respect to time, a particle changing its position along one direction means parallel to the ground, which I am saying now according to mathematics as x-axis. Along x-axis, let us think it was at the origin at a time t equal to 0 second, and after a time of t equal to 2 seconds, it reached the point 4, for example. Now it is very easy to assess. It is covered a distance along a particular direction. No other variations we are seeing, only along x-axis. This is the distance covered, which we are measuring easily if it is only along the parallel to the ground, along the abscissa or the x-axis. So x is equal to x2 minus x1, which may be written as a 4 minus 0 as a 4 meter. More easy. Or even the variation for t equal to 0 second. For t equal to 0 second, imagine the particle is at minus 2 meter, x1 is minus 2 meter. After certain time, at t is equal to 5 seconds, if the particle is reached to x2 is equal to 2 meter, then it is how to find the distance covered. The distance formula or distance path covered, that is this distance what it covered can be calculated. That distance calculated as x2 minus x1, x2 is 2 meter no doubt, minus this 2 meter minus of minus 2 meter, it is minus 2, it is 2 meter. You know well 2 meter plus 2 meter, minus of minus, the path length become 4 meter. So it is so easy in one dimension, it is more easy experiencing you are. It is a horizontal changes, that is a reference frame, a reference line taken as a x-axis. Similarly, we can think perpendicular to the earth, perpendicular to the ground. My basic reference is the ground. If I consider the variations only along y-axis, perpendicular to the ground, the word we are using from different languages, it is appeared ordinate. If it is only variation along y-axis, perpendicular to the ground, not parallel, only one direction, only perpendicular to the ground, then I also can take here some 0.1, 2, 3 meter, 4 meter, 5 meter, similarly minus 1 meter, minus 2 meter, minus 3 meter, like that. Easy to understand again. If you want the calculation of the distance covered along the vertical path, initial position y1 is 0 at time t equal to 0 second. After time it may be reached y2 is equal to 5 meter at t equal to 5 second. You can calculate the distance covered in that interval, delta y, which is a distance covered, yes, y2 minus y1. No other component is affecting it, no other variable affecting, only along one direction. That's what we say, one direction. So here it is 5 minus 0, y2 is 5, y1 is 0, and we will get answer 5 meter. Even in this case, if you take it is minus 3 meter, y1 is minus 3 meter at time t equal to 0 second, and it is reached 4 meter, y2 is equal to 4 meter at t is equal to 4 second. What is the displacement again down here? If you see, this is the displacement comes, delta y is s equal to y2 minus y1. y2 is 4 meter minus 3 meter, minus of minus 3 meter, as we have previously taken, 4 plus 3 become 7 meter. So two directions specifically we selected. So one is x, another is y. This which we called it as a abscissa or x-axis, and this vertical line is called it as a ordinate or y-axis. Suppose the particle is simultaneously moving in two directions at a time, it is not only along x, or if it is not moving only along y, then the problem is, suppose if it is moving making some angle with the x-axis. Let us think, for example, if I take it is the x-axis and this is the y-axis, particle seems to be moving like this. Every time we are seeing that it is not only along x or along y, x and y both are varying. How to locate this? We want the coordinate system here. So to locate that, we have to fuse the two axes x and y with a common origin. That what I do. So let us see here, this is also have 0 starting point, this also 0. I can fuse this. Now I got an axis which is y, and this is x, y, both together cover the plane. Movement of particle on this plane can be exactly assessed, position of the particle can be exactly assessed when it simultaneously changes y and x, in this case y and x. The position of the particle, how we locate I come to later. That means here the plane can cover if the particle is moving in one dimension x, or it may be moving only in y direction is y, but if it is moving in a combined motion x and y like this, at a time you are seeing both variations, it is also moving along x as good as y, so it is finding position, it's different with both variations of x and y. then it is confined to this plane, which we call it as a xy plane, which I called in xy plane. We can study the position of the particle with the reference of this origin, which called as origin of the coordinate system. This called as a Cartesian coordinate system. Now I taken this. There is third one direction also when you are thinking about the three-dimensional thoughts. So perpendicular to this board, you can think like this. So far you are in a home. Now behind you the wall. Behind you the wall is one is x-axis, another is y-axis. So a point you locate on this. It is on the plane, no doubt. It is on that plane. Now I can think particle is moving perpendicular to that. A fly is coming from behind you, which is sitting on the wall in front of you. Then the motion may be one dimensional, still I say. It is also one dimensional because perpendicular to the board. This axis in three dimensionally we say z. It is called as a z coordinate. So that variations also we can fuse and see. One dimensional thought may be in three different directions, either x or y, and either x, that is horizontal, perpendicular to that as vertical. Now we can think of a plane. In this plane moving perpendicular to that plane, so that becomes a spatial motion. Three directional simultaneous variation comes. Not only x, not only y, even z can vary. So this, how to locate the position of the particle. If it is moving in one dimension, you understood. How can locate the position of the particle in two dimension and three dimension? That possible with the help of the coordinate system, where we go about this coordinate geometry. So I think the introduction part very much essential in the beginning of first PUC, the beginning chapters when you move into representation graphically and understanding the location of the point and drawing the graph is must. Let I hope you that it is an abscissa along x-axis and y-axis there is one plane. So how to locate this point I will come to and go with details later. Note it down, I will come again. Fine. Now let us try to understand locating of a particle, positioning of the particle, and also the position vector, which we are saying later, or in the mathematics what we say line segment, that we can understand in this, how to locate the position of the particle in two dimension, in a plane. So I told if the particle is moving along only x-axis, we taken the x-axis x value and only along y-axis as a ordinate. If I taken this complete, first let us think it is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. This is the origin intersection of the two axes, horizontal motion and vertical motion possible. And let us be the points 2, 3, 4, 5 like that, and here also minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 like 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 and so on as a minus 6, or it is minus 6. See first here, this divided the plane. Just imagine we divided the plane into 4 parts. As 1/4 part is called as a quadrant, and that quadrant in mathematics is taken in one order, anti-clockwise direction starting from this. This one is called as a first quadrant. This is called as a second quadrant. And as a third quadrant. And the fourth quadrant. Now we divided entire plane of study. I told two coordinates when we two axes are mixed, horizontal and vertical, that created a plane. In this plane the moment of particle can be assessed in any part of this. Let us think I want to locate the point P. Has coordinates say x or y, x comma y. How to get the x value? That is, the statement comes from the coordinate geometry. This is a line, vertical line. With respect to vertical line, x coordinate is only varies parallel to the earth, parallel to the ground, imagine. The variation that is coming from that. So let us move like this and you will get this point. What we got is a x value, that we are moved from here to here along x. That I can write here 3 meter is a x component perpendicular to the vertical line, as a y axis is a reference line. To assess the x coordinate, abscissa value can be estimated passing through like this in a horizontal direction. So then if you want y component, y coordinate, so you have to move upward because it is a vertical motion. Along y axis we have to move, so that we move like this, which gives you the value of y. So here we taken that is 3, that means it is also 3 meter. Now xy coordinates are 3 and 3 meter. I think you are understood here how to locate. X coordinate you have to want means you have to know perpendicular to y axis, parallel to x axis. So the 3 you got, the value of x is this, which we written here. Suppose if you want the value of y coordinate, you have to move vertically upward, perpendicular to x axis but parallel to y axis. That helped you to find the position of the point P. Now this is called as a Cartesian coordinate system. In a 2 dimension, Cartesian coordinates. Just I located a point. So now, what is the distance between origin to P? As I told, maybe in future we are calling it as a position vector, we coming in the next class. But line segment between O and P, the line joining, the distance from the origin is how much, how to calculate. Now we have 3 and 3 value. So when you see these two are perpendicular, it is a perpendicular line from x axis, the coordinate of y is obtained. And however you come to know, this is a Pythagoras theorem. So this if I called as r, you can calculate the value of r using the relation Pythagoras theorem. So it is 90 degree. These two sides are adjacent sides, x square plus y square. In this problem you can write 3 square plus 3 square. When I bring 3 out, so it become 1 plus 1. So that may be equal to root 2 into 3 is the value of r we have. The value of r. So again I am coming to another coordinate system which we are using along with this simultaneously and extend to Cartesian coordinates later. What is here is this angle, I can call it as a angle theta. So it is angle with the reference line. This line segment with the origin, what it makes is called as an angle. And from the origin, position of the particle is called as a radius vector. Or it may be now we can call it as a length segment joining P to center. R and theta. Now we can have the another coordinate system which relates with the R and theta. So this is the position point P, value of R which is now got, and theta you have. So we can represent from the X reference line, as the point P is at different positions. So you are seeing that the value of theta is changing, accordingly value of R also changes. Is a two-dimensional variation, R theta. Here angle with respect to origin and reference line as X in the anti-clockwise direction is taking as positive moment. And this coordinates we say R comma theta, R theta. So polar coordinates I can express even in terms of xy as a polar coordinates. And now it is a second, as like Cartesian coordinate system, we should know also the polar coordinates. R theta. So you are having the knowledge of trigonometry. I know you have studied well in SSLC. You may be stronger than me also. So now when you are seeing this, you already got the R value. If I want to shift to polar coordinates, R value we have, distance of the point from the chosen origin. Magnitude of one variable is known. To find theta value, you know this is y and this is x. In trigonometry, you learnt that angle opposite side, you are calling it as a opposite side one. Another is a adjacent side. You defined an angle, that trigonometric function as a tan theta, as y by x. Is it not? Y by x. Y is 3, x is 3, is 1. Tan theta is equal to 1. R theta is equal to tan of inverse value. That comes to be equal to 45 degree is the value. If you are not known, we come to trigonometry also, inverse function determination. But however, I am thinking you are knowing well, tan theta you are defined opposite side by adjacent side. In this problem, accidentally 3 by 3 is 1. So equal variations tan theta, tan inverse of 1 is 45 degree. That means here I got theta equal to 45 degree if I am representing in the form of polar coordinates, same the point P. Having Cartesian coordinates 3 and 3, polar coordinates if I want to represent the same, now coordinate angle is theta, with reference to this we are positive value measuring. If it is clockwise we take negative. Anti-clockwise, clockwise I think you are understanding, because clock is needles of the clock moving in the clockwise direction. If we move in the direction of the needle movement, it is clockwise. If we move opposite to the needle movement of the clock, then it is called anti-clockwise. So if you are moving opposite to that, anti-clockwise, so then it is taken as positive as 45 degree. Now I want to represent this xy in polar coordinates then. What are the polar coordinates? That also can be obtained here. That, for example, I remove little bit this. Now you are thinking that if I want the x coordinate in terms of polar coordinate, but r value you are knowing as root of x square as 3 root 2 you can get, and even theta you know the 45 degree. So now we want the x component. X is adjacent side, r is known, hypotenuse. Adjacent side by hypotenuse you have defined it as cos function, as cos theta. Adjacent side is x, hypotenuse is r. Therefore I can write x is equal to r cos theta. Now fine, I can write r cos theta as the x coordinate, as in the Cartesian coordinate system. Now I have r cos theta equivalent to that in the polar coordinate system. Similarly, if I want y as a y coordinate of the Cartesian coordinate system, in polar coordinates if we need, then y is required, y is opposite side of this, and r is the hypotenuse. So you can take sine theta as opposite side by r, which suggests y is equal to r sine theta. You got that? Now I can write it is r sine theta. You can represent a point in two dimension in a plane with the two variables x and y. Coordinates, if you want x component, x coordinate, you have to move parallel to the x axis as a reference frame and perpendicular to the vertical reference plane as y axis to get the value of x. If you want y coordinate, you have to move parallel to y, but perpendicular to x axis. When you move like that, the intersection point of those two give you the coordinates of the point P, which is helping us to fix exactly the position of a particle at any instant. So this is a reference frame. With respect to the origin, we can study the movement of this particle. So that helping us to say whether the particle is in motion or not. That you have learned maybe in the high school standard when you studied about the equations of motion or the motion, rest and motion. Just I bring physics. So always we say no body is absolutely at rest or absolutely at motion to say. Always it is relative. One is related to the other. Absolute rest we cannot define at all with respect to something. Suppose if you are three friends, you and your one of the friends is traveling in a train. You reached the station, just the train is moving. One of the friend came to receive you. If I ask the question to the friend who is in the platform, what is the state of both of you, or your friend, not yourself? If I asked a question to platform student, platform friend, your friend, what is your position? Let us. He says he is in motion. He says that your friend who is in the platform, say that you are in motion. Because train is moving, he is not worrying about train, but he looking you are in motion. Interdistance between you and the friend is changing because he is on the ground, you are in the train is moving. But another friend who is inside the train along with you by the side of you. When I ask the question, same question to that friend, what is your state according to him? He says he is at rest. Because interdistance between you and friend who is in the train is not changing. The statements differ according to the reference. With respect to the train, your friend who is beside you and yourself, no changes in the position, therefore you are found to be at rest. And if I ask the same question with respect to the train, then they are not in motion for the platform friend also. But platform friend, see yourself with respect to the ground, not with respect to train. With respect to train, you are no doubt at rest, but with respect to ground, you are in motion. Thereby, this relative motion, relative concept, to understand we need the reference frames. That reference frame is this, where origin is a fixed one. Now I come to that point before conclusion of this class. Let us see here, this point if not changes with respect to this coordinate system, this plane, with respect to origin, if this point is not changing with respect to time, then I say particle is at rest. I fixed, the frame is fixed, and this particle should not change its coordinates x and y with respect to time. I say it is at rest. With respect to this frame, with respect to time, if that is not changing the coordinates, then we say it is at rest. If its coordinates, any one of them, either x or y, or both are changing, we say particle is in motion. With respect to this frame and time, we measure. That reference helping us to better understand the absolute motion and relative motions, rest or motion concept, and future when you enter to the physics classes you understand that. But now I taken this two coordinate systems, one Cartesian coordinate system where we give the x, y, Another, if you take perpendicular to both as z to relocate the position of the particle in space. As told you, because when I take z axis, x and y may be this point P, if it is coming out, then there is another variation parallel to the ground but perpendicular to the x axis, perpendicular to the y axis. For x, y axis or plane, if you move perpendicular, then particle come to the space. No variation, anything you can understand later on. Now there are 4 quadrants. Before concluding, I hope you are understood these values, how to find the Cartesian coordinates in the 2 planes, or it may be another is z plane, where what is the distance movement is perpendicular to xy plane, how much moved is considered as a z coordinate. So polar coordinates also we discussed, r and theta. We can represent the Cartesian coordinates in the form of polar coordinates, the particular position of the point. And now coming back to, this is 4 quadrants, first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and the fourth quadrant. So quick recapitulation of the both, what happens to here. So that is, when we see x and y here, we must be fast in case of entrance when you go to the solution of the problems. So we have to see which quadrant we are, both in respect of polar coordinate as theta value and also the xy values are consistently changing. So if both x and y are positive, for example, as we taken 3 meter and 3 meter, we are seeing that both are positive. X and y, both coordinates are positive, the particle should be in the first quadrant. And if you take theta, theta should be less than 90 degree. Then it will be in the first quadrant. Variation of angle between 0 to 90. 0 to 90, it will be in the first quadrant. So that is nothing but, come to the second quadrant. You are seeing the y axis, if you observe, it is positive. Y values are positive, but x values are negative. X values are negative. That means here minus x comma y. In the second quadrant, x coordinate is negative, y coordinate is positive. And if you take theta, which is greater than 90 degree but less than 180 degree, as a second quadrant, the angle from here to here, variation of angle between 90 to 180 which take place is a second quadrant, and minus x and y is positive, x is negative. Both are negative when come to the third quadrant. Both are negative, that here minus x and minus y, both are negative, minus x and minus y. As here coordinates are taken, here theta varies from 180 to 270 degree. 270 degree in the third quadrant. And coming to the fourth quadrant, you are seeing x become positive, but y remains in the negative part, x comma minus y. And here theta, if you consider, theta is between 360 degree to 270 degree. It is between 270 to 360. So the variations, whenever you come to the situation to locate the point, to understand the motion or any physical quantity, in which quadrant it is must. To have the trigonometric function knowledge, easy it becomes once you understood the quadrant concept. And both are positive, and here it is minus x and x is negative, y is positive. In third quadrant both are negative. In the fourth quadrant x is positive, y is negative. And in polar coordinates, if you think that 0 to 90 is first quadrant, 90 to 180 is second quadrant, 180 to 270 is third, 270 to 360 is the fourth quadrant, and variation of trigonometric function how take place we will see in that trigonometric concept discussion. So fine students, we conclude today with this. We started the coordinate geometry, how to locate the point in a plane under two-dimensional variation, and its importance we will come to know as you take journey in physics. Thank you, and note down the things. Let us meet together again tomorrow.